Okay, so here's the thing. I want to talk to you from a client that I not too long ago talked to about a subject that she asked me to uh, put it together and express to you guys. And so we're going to go through it. All right. All right. So here's the scenario. The scenario is she, female, was talking to a guy, dated him for, let's say, 6 months, broke up with him because she felt like he just wasn't the one. And then a year or so later, she found him with another woman and a child, and happy, extremely happy. And she was wondering how come when he was with her, she didn't see in him and her what she now sees with him and another woman. And so that's the scenario, and that's what we're going to talk about. Though why she didn't see him and her as she saw or sees him and another woman. Okay. There's three issues, and I'm hoping that in these issues that I can be delicate enough not to seem like I'm bashing females, but I have to tell you the truth in a doctoral man position, because it is what it is, and this is what needs to be addressed. Okay, to the issue at hand. Okay, first issue is self. Since the 1950s, 60s, 70s, it ramped up in the 60s and 70s, before like in the 30s, but all the way, let's say 60s and 70s, that independent woman issue started coming out. The independent woman in the context of, we don't need a man, and we can do fine without a man, and we can blame social events, we can blame other things, but ultimately what it boils down to is you guys, ladies, were focused so much on your independence that no one taught you, or you believed in a lie, and that lie is that you can be successful in your academics and in your careers and be successful in your relationships. You believe the lie when you say you don't need a man, which ultimately we know that according to the event and circumstances, you really do. So we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But in the context of what this discussion is, you guys focus so much on self, and you're so independent, which is nothing wrong by itself, because a strong, secure man loves an independent, strong woman. So that's not the issue. The issue is no one taught you, or that you guys were believed in a lie that you can be successful in your career and in your relationship. And the evidence to this proof is a story well over 2,000 years ago, where a woman was telling her son about a woman that he needs to marry, and that is a entrepreneur woman who takes care of herself, her business, and her family, and I might add, very successfully. So if a woman can do it, and it's in the scripture, Proverbs 31, if she can do it well over 2,000 years ago, there is no reason why you, in today's time with technology and the ease of today, I'm not saying easy, just the ease of today, that you also cannot have a successful career as well as have a successful relationship. But you can't, because like I said, you believed in a lie, and no one really taught you how to be a Proverbs 31 woman. meaning successful in a career and your family. So that was my point number one to her, and to get you guys to understand, the self got in the way. Build yourself to be an independent, strong woman, but you're not happy. At the end of the day, at the end of the job time, and you are driving, and yes, you are having fun, going out and having fun, but at the end of the day, you and I both know, if you're single, you're divorced, or whatever, and you're of age like 30 and above, and you don't have a family, you and I both know that it hurts to a degree. And so the lie that they gave you ultimately is the independence of self without the happiness that you could ultimately have in a relationship. So that was number 1 point. Okay, number 2. Sorry about the papers in the background. Number 2 is, in today's time, technology, social media. Okay, social media ultimately brings, stripping everything away, it brings addictions. And addictions is the addiction to attention. And your attention is by all the bells and whistles that comes along with all your social media, your conversations, your acting out, and so on and so on. I don't want to get into that rabbit hole either. But just to let you know, that attention that you guys are seeking, which is awesome to a degree, you can't compare it to one person. So, and likewise, even if you had 10, let's say a woman to a guy, even if you had 10 guys giving you likes and comments and you look beautiful and you're doing good and that's awesome and so on, like I'm who am I to argue that point? And I see what you guys are doing, and yes, you do look beautiful and awesome, and I enjoy that you can share with us your events and everything you guys are doing. But at the same time, the attention that you're receiving, that we all receive, it's hard on your mate, because that competitive nature of the attention is damaging to a relationship. And especially if the attention that is being given is single, meaning it's just you and not you and your partner, your mate. And here's the problem, is that even if you find a person to be with you, personally, that addiction that you have, you just can't turn it off. It's just, you just can't turn it off. And because you can't turn it off, at the same time that he is not going to give you equal amount of attention as the individuals within your social media does. And so in that context, there's that struggle, and that struggle is you're yearning for that attention. And when you have a good guy or a guy or whatever, excuse me, you're going to yearn for that attention, because again, like I said, you can't turn it off, and he can't compete. And so therefore, that's number 2. Be mindful of the addictions that you could be facing when it comes to your social media, in the relations, that if you really want to settle down with your partner, may I be mindful of starting slowly to take away some of those attention things and slow it down. Now, again, that's gonna be to another part. And again, what's the part of it is you're gonna go back to become lonely, right? And that's a bad condition to be in, because the loneliness can bring depression and other means. So which one do you want to have? Do you want the depression because you're lonely, or do you want the social media and the attention, or do you want the guy who can give you some but not in comparison to? You see where I'm going with all of this? Number two, it's we're in a cycle, and if you're not careful, meaning include him or whomever, include them into your world as they're trying to include you into their world. If you include each other, then it's compatible to itself. But if you don't include them, then there's really no competition of itself. And so one is going to be feeling lonely until that, or yearning for that, and while the other one feels overwhelmed that they can't match up and compete against it. Okay? So that's number two. Be mindful of that position. Okay? Number three. Okay, so we got into a little discussion on number 3 point. Number 3 is an idea that, and I'll keep this in the biblical sense, like Adam was created by God. Out of Adam was the rib, and out of the rib God formed the woman and put them together. Okay. When Adam and woman was put together, ultimately, what is it that their roles? What are their roles? So Adam's role is he has 2 types of images. He has the work mentality image, and then he has the non-working image mentality. What does that mean? That means if you see me working versus me not working, you can tell very quickly just by the shirts that I wear, for example, me, okay, and how my hair is. So the point is, there's 2 points of view of how to look at your man. In one sense, when you meet him at your job, he's looking good, he's smelling good, he's doing his best, he's out there handling his business. But then if you take him home and whatever, and then you wake up and you realize that he's a slob or something to that effect. You know what I mean? And likewise, it's the opposite sense of a woman, you know, in the context of her makeup, and you in the middle of the night and you're drinking a little and you find a woman and she looks adorable, and you take her home and she washes her makeup off so she can rest at night, and you look at her and you're like, who is this? So we're dealing with one aspect of number 3 is the image of ourselves. You have to look past the imaginary thoughts of what you think a relationship should be, and take away and strip away that the motive and the imagination of it, and look at a person for who they really are. And who they are is, if they're professionals like me and you and everyone else, then we have 2 images. We have a working image and a home image. And sometimes I like you more better when you're at work than I do when you're at home. And if that's the case, then we're going to have some problems. Okay. So that's an issue that has to be addressed. Okay. The other point of view is, when a man is looking for a woman in the relationship, if you strip everything away, what he ultimately wants is peace. Just peace and quiet, peace. If I have a problem at work, I need peace. Am I struggling? I need peace. You can look at all the movies, and you can see a lot of kings in the movies and the queens comforting the man, giving him peace, not in the context of leave him alone. No, it's sit down with him, hear him out, and then give him comfort, give him peace. Sometimes it's just a shoulder to cry on sometimes. I'm not saying he's going to cry, guys. I'm just saying a shoulder though, and or sometimes it's a advanced, tell him something. Now, in communicating, ladies, this is a part. When we as men, we have to understand that you as a woman, we need to talk to you softly in a sympathetic way. But ladies, when you talk to a guy, talk to him hard. Talk to him hard, like straightforward, no fluff. Just tell him like it is. And he can appreciate that communication style way better than that psychological, soft, emotional stuff that you give us. Okay? So, image, communication. How do you communicate? He wants peace. Now, in context, what you both want peace. It's just how do you go about giving the peace is he needs it straightforward with no fluff, and we need to, as men, need to learn how to give fluff and put fluff into our communication when we talk to you. Okay? So communication. And other things that I've talked about in my other videos, and that is this. How you dress, you're the image of him. If he's at work and he's a professional at work, sometimes you're going to have to look professional. But when you're at home and he looks like a t-shirt and whatever else he has or don't have on, then it's okay to relax and take it easy. But just be mindful. You're shocking him when you take your makeup off and the wigs, and for some of you, the wigs and so on. So how you dress is very important to him. Goals. The goals that you two have has to be established by where we're going in the next year, where we're going in 5 years and 10 years and so on. And part of that goal setting is the inclusion of you getting an education, getting a new career, and so on and so forth. Every relationship that is long-term, and when I say long-term, I'm talking about 30 years plus, that is the most common denominator in all of those relationships, and that is they have purpose. What is my purpose with you? I don't have a purpose with you unless I have a goal that I have to set up and establish to be with you, right? And sometimes you guys just got to sit down and come up with this. And then when you come up with it, then you guys can work together. Sometimes, like I said, it's you too. It's consider the field. I'm referring to Proverbs 30:31. Consider the field, work late at night, get up early in the morning, and you still got to take care of you, and you still got to take care of the family, and so on and so forth. And what does he do? He does the same thing. He's getting up early, coming home late, and still working. But keep in mind, ladies, if you guys have equal, meaning he's working hard, you're working hard, you're not equal. Him working hard is maybe a little different than you working hard, but you still both work hard for your own rights. And so therefore treat each other with respect. Not this independent crap. You got to treat each other with respect. Okay. And the last point in number 3 is marriage is not a goal. I hate to say this. Marriage is not a goal. If you're saying, I'm going to get married in my 20s, I'm going to get married in my 30s, I'm going to get married, whatever, I don't care. It's not a goal. Ladies, this is where you guys are really messing up. You think there's a perfect time to be married. No. It's the opportunity. When opportunity knocks, open the door, let it in. If opportunity is for you, it will understand that you're still in school. It will understand you're still trying to build a career. It's understanding. That's what a relationship is. We compromise. There's respect. There's all of these wonderful things that goes along in a relationship. So if you're saying I'm going to wait until after I get a career, after I finish this education, after this, you're going to be alone because you're only focusing on self. What joy could it be if you're going through what you're going through and your partner can go through it with you and assist you while you're going through it? It is nothing for a man to come home after a long day's work, knowing that you have a part-time job and you're full-time in school, and you got to come home and still do your homework. What would he not do to take care of you and make sure you get good grades? Now, in this same token, there are some stupid men out there. Just be mindful. Listen to the red flags. Okay? Don't use love. What is love? Love is nothing. All right. So in closing, that's 3 points. Self, the individual, not happy because, that attention seeking because of social media and the addictions to that. And the number 3, the image of it, the communications of it. Goal setting. Marriage is not a goal. And in that, let me conclude, this is the proper way of I guess you can say build and continue a relationship in the beginning. I'm talking about raw stuff. I'm not getting into this. But the first step is you have to have a thought you're going to get married, and not because. Your thought is, I'm going to get married when opportunity strikes, period. If he's good and I'm not perfect and he's not perfect, but he's kind, he's gentle, he's a peaceful man, he's not going to beat me up, he's not going to cuss me out, he is all these wonderful, gentle things that he could be to a woman, because I don't trust him. Every man will kill somebody, right? But he's gentle to you, and you like him and he likes you. Girl, you better lock that down. So the very first thing is you have to have the thought of it. Then the second point is you got to build respect for each other. In that respect, there's a lot of red flags that's going to come out in the very beginning of all relationships. And you need to work it out if you can. And if you can't, then you just know it's not for you. Let it go. And go back to number 1, the thought of I'm waiting for opportunity. But if you can build respect, then the next step is love. Build the relationship with love. Okay? Then the next step is you have to work at it. A relationship is work. It is not fairy tale. It's not him going to provide for you and you cooking. That is not work. No, work is we have goals that we need to establish. We have dreams that we're trying to establish. We have a future. We're working towards that future. That's work. I work 12 hours. You work 2 jobs. We working for a common goal. That takes a lot of work. And sometimes you're tired, I'll cook for you. Sometimes I'm tired, you cook for me. And sometimes we both tired. Let's order out. That's compromising. That's a true relationship. And the last one is sacrifice. A man will make a sacrifice and a woman will make a sacrifice as soon as you have kids. And or your parents get too old to take care of themselves. So you're going to have to make sacrifices, and you have to go take care of somebody else before taking care of you. If your man gets into a car accident, you have to take care of him. If a woman gets in a car accident, you expect him to take care of you. You don't expect him to leave you and find another woman who's better physically and so on. If you do, he's an asshole in the first damn place. You shouldn't have been with him in the first place. But if he's kind and gentle and caring, and you know if you get into a car accident and he's going to be there with you, there's going to be some sacrifices. And if you have children, there's going to be a lot of sacrifices. But you two together can work it out. Okay? So thought, respect, love, work, sacrifice. If you can work on that, that's the very beginning. That's the root of what I can give you as far as establishing yourself and getting you set up for a good relationship within yourself, so you can apply yourself with and to somebody else. I hope that makes sense. Okay. And the whole point of this whole discussion is, when you look at your exes and they're happy with someone else, they're that way because of one of the reasons, if not more, one of the reasons why you just didn't have it together. But now that you can understand where I'm coming from and what we're talking about, and you can do more research with other people and books and so on, I want you to put in your mind that you can have a successful career, ladies, and a successful relationship, as the Proverbs 31 story goes, over 2,000 years, and you are in a better life, ease of life in today's time. Okay? I hope this helps. Let me know what you guys think down below. If it's personal, please just DM me. And if nothing else, I will talk to you much later. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.